Welcome back to Anno 1800 series, where we are modding the game with the New Horizon mod. This New Horizon mod opens a whole new region based on Asia that you can see over here. We've already done some nice progress. This is a region also that comes with a completely new gameplay element with the monsoon. Every hour you have 30 minutes of monsoon, and during the monsoon all of your farms stop producing, and then you have 1 hour of dry season, and then you can restart. So you need to make sure that you have some reserves, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. We've done some good things over here, but there's a lot more we have to do. We have also in the last few episodes, so don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to see it, we have completed the Arctic. You can see the Arctic over here completely done. I have 40 out of 40 technicians because we're giving them everything. And similarly in M-Besa we have completed everything in terms of production, and we have 35 out of 35 elders. They have also all of the bonuses because we got the perfect outcomes. If you look over here at Taborin, we have a magnificent botanical garden. We have over here the Imperial Gardens. We have the Palace Research Institute. We have the Imperial Military Academy, the Consulate, defenses in the Arbor, and much more. So yeah, this is all done. We are even giving to my people in the new world over here, everything. Look over here, we're giving, for example, my journal some TEF. We're giving my Obrera some Illuminati script, and my Artista are getting lanterns. The only thing they want is billiard table. For that, we're gonna need a lot more investors though. Speaking of investors, if we look at the old world, we're doing the same. We are doing, a lot of the lifestyle need. I'm giving, for example, hibiscus tea to the farmers. We're giving to the workers some clay pipes. And for my investors, they're getting bear fur from the Arctic and tapestries. We have also just started at the end of the last episode scholars over here. We have 10 scholars house, and we are starting the Research Institute Foundation over here to be able to do some research and get more scholars. So in this episode, I think what I want to focus on first is trying to get us to the whole new tier of population, because you can unlock above investor now. There is something above investor called magnates, but for this we need to get to 5,000 investors to unlock the steam carriages, then build those steam carriages, and then we'll be able to upgrade. This will actually also, by the way, get us access to the elevators at 5,000, and so we can start doing some skyscrapers. So that's gonna be the first thing. Give me a second. I'm basically going to upgrade a couple of houses over here. I'm gonna build this production, and I'll see you when we're ready to upgrade. And it is just a few minutes later. I have 4 new investors house. I've also put a few more engineers house over here to stay in positive in terms of workforce, and we have 3 new productions. We have over here the cab assembly line. Now, to be honest, this one I'm also putting a minus 50% productivity because we're producing way too much versus what we need. This will require some steam motors. We're already making a lot, so that's good. And something new, the chassis. So that's the second new production next to it, which will take some wood and some caoutchouc, making those chassis. And then last but not least, I have used our first assembly line. Assembly line is a multi factory where you can choose different production. As you can see, there is elevators and later biscuits and typewriters. And yeah, we're doing that first one using steel, wood veneers, and steam motors. So actually I'm lying. There is one more production over here. This is the wood veneers. I don't know if we're making enough. Maybe we're not, but it's not the end of the world for now. I mean, the goal is to create, to make a few more elevators. It's a bit like your bricks or your steel. It's not the end of the world if it's not a perfectly equilibrium production. On the other hand, obviously now we're making those steam motors. So if I look at my people over here, they are ready to be both transformed into skyscrapers and into magnets. So I think actually we're gonna transform these guys into the magnets, right? Like this is just in front of the bank. I think that makes the most sense. We're gonna have 4 of these there. Okay. So that is the magnet. You can see a pretty cool visual. They're unhappy right now, I guess, because they're getting... why are you unhappy? The pollution, okay. Because they're not getting many of those new things. many of which will come from the New World. You know, porcelain, sake, this is what comes from the New World, I mean Asia. This fountain pen seems to be something different. And then subway station, something completely new, of course. We have over here the radios, tea, blue cheese, and silk vests. Okay, okay. And lifestyle need, they're gonna want, of course, local mail and overseas. Let's give that for sure. Some beer. They want a food venue. Okay. They want tortillas, Illuminati script, advanced weapons, don't ask me why, and motor goods. And then some completely new things, the tabulators, bourbon whiskey, and cars. Okay, but for this is 4,000 magnets. Oh my god, okay. I wasn't really ready for that. The good thing is we also get, you know, some influence. To be precise, we get 3, while with investors, you also get 3. So it's the same. In terms of population, it's also pretty similar, right? 105, 123. So the 5,000, no, 4,000 over here is definitely gonna take a bit of effort. I think I'm gonna need to expand my production even more, ladies and gents. But yeah, we have the magnets over here for different houses. Can we transform them into... You can, it seems, and you can do skyscrapers of those magnets. I'm keen to look into this. But first, maybe let's do some skyscrapers for our investors. Let's go with 4 over here. Up and up. Oh, we are out of elevators, actually. Let's get that one downgraded. And that way I have a few elevators to do at least one engineer too, because that was the mission. And that way I can show you a bit what we have. So we are now unlocking, you know, the department store at level 1. So instead of 84, we move to potentially 124. We have the same lifestyle needs and happiness, but yeah, we have this new need over here that can be good for 20 people. On top of this, we also have a bit of panorama effects potential. You can't really get a great one with level 1 houses, but you can get a bit. We have the same on this side, right? Where we have the department store, and we can increase higher. So it would be probably good to try to get these ones also to this. But we need some needs to be fulfilled before we can get there. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna want to build the department store. The problem is this is gonna take even more space again inside my city. So I'm thinking I may need to rework a bit my city before, especially knowing now that we're gonna need quite a bigger city than what I expected before. I think what we're gonna do is probably move, you know, farmers and workers maybe even further over here, and have therefore more space here for the engineers, investors, and magnates. But yeah, a completely new tier of population with whole new, you know, productions. They need the bomb beans for sure. I don't know why they need strings. We'll see. I guess it's a sub-production for something else. They need access to galena. This is something completely new. Built next to an iron mine, copper mine, zinc mine, or open pit iron mine. Okay, so we're gonna try that. And the radio factory, the detector receivers, so quite a few new things here. And yeah, we're gonna need quite a few more if we want to unlock these other ones. And then last but not least, this also enables us to build this foreign trading company in the old world too. We had already built it in the new world in you know, Ori, but now we're able to build it over here too, and we get access again to those foreign trading company warehouse, to the import piers for the tabulators. So let's check that out. How will that work? This takes 100 artisans, 500 of coins, and it will take trade license to give us some tabulators. Okay, it says there's no storage, so I guess we also need to make sure that this is in a specific storage like these ones. So let's build that couple. Okay, so now I think we have 75 of storage, but it requires some trade license. How do we... Ooh, it requires a road to work apparently. And a warehouse. Ouch. So I'm gonna need to put it on the coastline. The problem is my coastline is already pretty busy. So again, I think I need to reorganize a bit this city if we want to get to the end of this game here. We are not using also a lot of items because remember the items have been reorganized or nerfed to be precise, so they're not as good as before. But yeah, let me check that out. So realistically, how are we going to do this? Well, I still want to keep the population on Cornfall. I've done many Let's Plays where Cornfall becomes an industrial hub, but here I want it to be the population hub. This is also because I want to get, you know, to take advantage of really the Iron Tower, of the tourists with restaurants and things like this, right? Which you cannot move between islands. They have to be on the islands where, you know, you have everything else. So we're gonna have a lot of population there. But what is clear too is that we need to start having a lot more of the other islands supporting Cornfall. We can't have all of the production on Cornfall because we're gonna need more population and therefore even more population and production. So we're gonna need to start taking advantage of the commuter pier so that we can transfer workers from islands. What does that mean? Well, again, you know, we're gonna have a lot of populations here, all right? A lot of the farmers, the workers, etc. They're gonna be all here. But then on all the other islands, instead of being limited to 200 of free workforce, we're gonna start, you know, connecting, like I did over here, with a commuter pier, so that this island, be it very small and without any population, will still get access to the whole workforce. And therefore we can start, you know, taking advantage of all of the mines, of all of the, you know, place. So for example, over here, I'm thinking this is gonna be a farming community in the sense of a lot of farms. Maybe we put our first stamp with trade union and things like this, even if the items are not as strong. But yeah, we start doing this here. Now we will also probably need to expand some of the other regions. And speaking of other regions, another thing I could have done is potentially start using more the old world, like make this island, for example, a farmer island, make this island here a worker island, make this one there an artisan one. The reason I'm not gonna do this is, one, like I said, wouldn't be getting access to the tourist bonus over here, and second, this is a bit of de-risking because on this region over here there is a lot of enemies. In particular, Beryl is pretty advanced on this region, versus if we look, you know, at the Cape, I basically own the Cape, right? She has one island over here. There is one super small island of Willy, but I could definitely, you know, kill them very quickly if I wanted. So I have a lot less chances of losing if I focus on the Cape here. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm not gonna do that all on screen, but I'm definitely going to, you know, take breaks and show you along the way what I'm doing. So as I said, I'm starting with a small island there. The idea being, you know, to use first of all of the mines, then to also use all of the coastal area. So I'm thinking either this is gonna be fish, or this is gonna be salpetre, or potentially also the sand for the windows. But we're gonna take advantage of everything. And then last but not least, you know, there will be space in the middle there, which we'll use for something. I haven't decided yet what, but we'll definitely use it for something. So it took a bit of time, but we're gonna do a first break to check out what I've been able to do. The first island I mentioned before is basically done. You can see we are now having quite a bit of reserves. We have multiple also piers to be able to deliver. We have all of the mines that are working, right? So making some coal, some iron and some copper. We are making a lot of fish over here. And last but not least, the middle of the island is all full with potato farms. So with this, if we look at this island over here, making 18 fish, 44 potatoes, 12 coal, 4 iron and 2 copper. So that's pretty good. And so obviously with this, I have deleted all of the potato farms on the Cornfall. I will show you in a second. Before, let's move to the island next to it or behind it, where we used to have just a couple of these salpet works, the equivalent, of 200 workers for free. Now we have a lot more salpet. You can see a lot of salpet here, but also there, and there, and there. So salpet is everywhere on this island now. On top of this, we have also a closed production, right? Work closed production over here in the middle with some advanced sheep farms. When by advanced, I mean, we're using silos. Those silos require some wheat, which is why you can see we have wheat around. And I didn't stop there. I started putting more wheat farms all across, in particular in these corners here. Oh, no, that's just the shade of the mountain. So yes, putting more, of wheat in those corners. There's still tons of space in the middle, by the way, but we have with this quite a bit of production again. We are making a lot more wool than what we need. We're using 20 for work clothes, but we're making more because remember, we need wool also for some other productions and lifestyle needs. Then we have a bit of clay, a bit of coal and iron again. A lot of salpet. 17 is, more than what I need. Look at here. I need 14 right now. So that is really great. And then last but not least, there was a lot of production of grain. So again, we have been able, and we're consuming just a bit in the silos, right? So again, I've been able to delete all of the grain farms from the cornfall. And then last but not least, by the way, I'm also making a bit of oil over here, which could be used in the future on this island if we want with tractors, or potentially in another island, like this one over here. I have actually even put, one of these medium oil harbor, so it's ready to receive. We have on this island a lot of sand. Instead of salpet, this is sand. You can see sand over here, a bit of sand there, and also a lot of sand on this side. So all of the beaches are used for sand. Similar to all the other ones, also putting a couple of piers to make sure we can deliver some more reserves, right? And in the middle, I have the space for a huge trade union with hop farms. Hop farms with the tractor barn if we want to. So that would be pretty cool, but I don't really need it right now. My production of hop, is enough from this island here. This island there was already making tons of hop, and we don't really need to change that. I mean, the only reason that we need to change this is if I need to get access to a couple of these mines, but for now, I think we're fine. Similar for this island over here of the grapes, there is still a lot of space for us to expand and, free workforce for us to expand if need be. So for now, I haven't changed that one. The other one I did change is this one on paper, where we started to add a lot more sand to on this side as well as on that side, and start using, all of the mines, because there's quite a lot. 4 coal mines, 1 iron and 1 copper. That was pretty good. So I have added more also paper on this side, right, slowly but surely. Oh, and one thing I forgot to show you that is pretty important is over here, I have also used our first, and we can see we'll probably need to do some upgrades or some warehouses on some of the islands. Like, look at this one here, they're already all at a pretty large level, but on some of them I haven't finished upgrading them. But what I did wanted to show you, is on this island here, I'm using my first local department. So local department, remember that comes with the palace in the investors, in the investor over here, where you can choose one of the departments that will give you already a bonus. For example, this one will give me plus 200 tons of storage, but most importantly, we have over here a policy. And in this case, I've chosen the 300% productivity for all coastal production building, but you need to remember that this is only for the buildings that are in range of a harbor master office, who is in range of the local department. So for now, the range of my local department is not actually that big. We will be able to expand that in the future. I'll show you how, but for now it's not that big. So I had to choose, put it either here or there or there. In the future, we could potentially put it more towards the middle of the island, and it could be in range of all of them. And then you just need to place a couple more harbor master offices, and you'll have huge boost, because this is 400%. I mean, this is really cool. And so with this, you can see I'm producing tons of sand, quartz sand, 62 just on that island, plus a bit of clay. There's 2 clay deposit on this island. Actually, no, I'm only using one right now. Okay, so we're gonna be able to expand. Yeah, I'm using this one here. We're gonna be able to expand that one. There's also a couple of mines. So this is the island really I was working on right now, but I wanted to take a small pause to show you the progress. So if we go back to controls, you know, in some ways it hasn't changed that much yet. You know, we still have the same population over here. We therefore still have basically the same workforce. It did increase a bit because now we're gaining, you know, 200 of free workforce for each of these islands that I connect. So there's a bit of boost there. But apart from this, it's almost like, you know, I just move building from one island to another, right? Like all of the sand farms, whatever it's called, sand mines that used to be there, and on the other side, they're now gone. The fish is gone. You can see also over here, all of the potato is gone. All of the wheat that used to be there is gone, but I just moved it somewhere else. So it's not that different, right? What is different though, is that now I have more and more space that we're gonna be able to start using to increase the population, to reorganize my production. And then last but not least, which is actually quite important, what it does enable us to do is also to start moving the buildings that create negative attractiveness, like, you know, pig farms, rendering works, those type of things, also the pollutions, right, like the furnaces, we can potentially start moving them somewhere else on another island. And I think this is in particular very relevant for all of these, you know, and not these ones there, right, like the pig farms. I think we need to move them all, rendering works. I do think we're gonna keep most of these there because I want to take advantage of this policy here, this policy of extra good from heavy factories as long as it's in range of a trade union. So right now I'm not actually gaining anything from it because I don't really have trade unions, but once we reorganize this a bit and we put some trade unions, we can gain a lot of boost of productions thanks to this. So we're gonna keep it there. It's basically gonna be a mix between a lot of population and probably more on this side, a lot of production. But yes, what we definitely do want to move is probably all of those pig farms, actually put those pig farm, you know, maybe on this island there. There's nothing there yet. I mean, it used to be salpet. Now we're producing so much salpet that we don't need it. And we can transform it, I think, into an island, you know, focused on production of animal farms. We can use a local department too there because there is a policy for that. But we can't have two policies in the same place. So that's why I'm gonna have one for this one here and one for this one there. Okay, let me work on it. And here it is. If you look over here at my attractiveness, I have basically nothing left in vulgarity except one ruin. Where is it? You can press G to get there. Okay, there's a riot there. So I'm gonna need to fix that. But yeah, there's basically nothing left over here. So that is great to improve our attractiveness. And we have more and more space over here. I mean, I have left so far many of the warehouses, but soon we're gonna need to delete them for sure. So there's no more pigs, no more rendering works, all of this. That has been moved to this new island there. And this is also where I'm starting to take advantage for sure of trade unions. You can see there's one trade union there, another one over here, another one there for the sausage, and lastly one here for the pigs. And this was beef, by the way. Then we have over here soap. I didn't put a trade union yet. I think I may add one because I'm starting also to get items. If you look over here, you know, we're starting to have some items like soap factory for this one, slaughterhouse, pig farm, animal farms. This is for the fisheries. So which island? I think it was this island. Yes, this island had the fish. So we're gonna send the fish over here. We're starting to use, you know, some of these items too. That's going to help for sure. I mean, if you put over here, for example, a livestock farmer, productivity plus 30, workforce needed minus 15. So that is great to increase my people. Same over here, we can put the same actual one. Here it is. So people are happy. They are also getting the Land Reform Act because I have the local department in the middle there. And you can see it is reaching those two, but not that one and not that one. Why? Because the range ends just before. So how do you increase the range? Well, it's not that hard. If you look over here at your palace, it says I have 12 modules. these are the small thing over here, out of 50. Each, this 50 limit is linked to my global population. If I reach 83,000, I will get 2 more limits. But in the meantime, I have definitely space to add a lot. Now you can make it pretty or you can make it very ugly, like I just did over here. We will maybe do a pretty one if you tell me in the comments below that you want to see one. But yeah, now we are 20 out of 50. And so if I go back over there again, you will see that now this one is in range and this one too. So that is great. That means all of these are getting the extra good from farms, right? So these guys are going to produce even more. And I think now we're going to be producing way too much. Look at this. We're producing, I have already paused some, but we're producing 96. And if I look at all of my islands, I need way less than this, right? So there is potential, of course, for improvement in the future. There's also potentially to do -50 and get the +19 happiness. But I feel like there is a bit of a bug with the happiness because my population is over here and here they're not really getting that happiness. If you look over there, they're not really getting it in the working conditions. So I don't think it helps that much to do the -50 there. But on the other hand, I mean, unless it does help potentially to reduce riots, but there's already very few riot chains. So the only thing we can do is then pause even more, which means then, more workforce and also less upkeep. So that's good. But yeah, we are making tons of pig, tons of beef, sausages over here, the sop, and also the rendering works for the tallow. I'm making more tallow there too, by the way. Is there something for tallow there? No, animal slaughter farms. So this one is good for here, plus 20% productivity. Yep. And then here, if I want to, I can add again that one to produce more beef. More beef. But yeah, the important thing is we got to the point where there is very little productions or basic productions left over here. There is quite a few of jam. Okay, maybe jam we'll put on another island, but that's fine. So I'm going to now delete all of these over here. We will need to replace some. For example, the bakeries I've left over here. The breweries also I've left over here. I've basically left most of the building that require electricity because the idea is now we're going to create, right, neighborhood with access to electricity and access, to the local department. We need to make sure it is in range. Right now, the range, the ends over here. We can move it. It doesn't really need to be there. I can also expand it further. But yeah, we're going to do this so that we could potentially use a lot less people because of this electricity. We'll also get this great bonus over here, right? 33% increase basically for free for lemonade, shampoo, brass, steam carriages, all of these, right? This is huge. This is huge. So we're going to do all of this and I'll see you in a minute. And it is, ladies and gentlemen, the city over here, the population hub, if you wish, is still pretty much the same. I haven't really changed much except I've added one town hall over here. I'll show it to you in a sec, but everything else has changed significantly. Look over here, there's a lot more production, and over here I've also reorganized all of my productions. So let's start on this corner. Now this is the corner where electricity could definitely help, which is why I do actually have, a railway over here if we wanted to. There's no electricity yet, but if we wanted to, we could bring electricity on this side. So electricity could help, but basically, there is no bonuses from heavy factory with these ones, because this is focused on things like the steel, the brass, the steam engine, the shampoo, etc. So these ones, I've put actually on this side because they're close enough. All of the other one, they're not that far, to be honest. You can see they're starting to be in range, but that was the corner for the less important ones, or the more kind of early game, if you wish. Now, again, I haven't fully optimized the warehouses, but there seem to be enough warehouses. We start at the bottom with the schnapps. Now, it is clear that I will never need so many schnapps. This is why most of them are blueprinted and not, built. But at least we have the space, we have a trade union to put items if need be. Then we have over here the breweries, right, for the beer as well as the malt. This is all into this one here with again a blueprint, not blueprint, trade union. We have the award-winning brewer that decrease the workforce and give me a bit of attractiveness. And we have the brewmaster bill, which provide electricity and reduce riots by 100%. So that means for this one, there's no need for police station. I could take them out. And we have electricity. Look at this. Electricity is there. I could, by the way, put the same guy here if I find it again. Then we have the bread with, the bakeries as well as the flour mill. I see that this one seems to be full, so we're gonna upgrade it. We also need flour for a couple of other things, so I may need more flour in the future, but that's a good start. And then last but not least, we have the canneries. That is using one item, the canner, workforce needed minus 20%. But yeah, we have over here canneries and the artisanal kitchen. So that's what you'll find on this side. And again, all of the resources are coming from the other islands, and we're making it on this island here, the final product, because most of the final products needs to be given to these people. Plus, I'm also sending it to the other regions, so it was easy to have it here. Then if we go all the way to the other side, I have made over here a window corner. This has access to electricity. There is also one trade union covering most of them if we want to, but especially, it's the electricity that's a big boost, because in the past, I had a lot of glass makers over here, and I still have a few over there, but these ones didn't have electricity. So here I have access to electricity, so that's really boosting them. And then we're gonna start having again, a trade union every time, like trade union here, trade union there, trade union here, trade union there, trade union there. So they're covering, let me show you that the coverage is pretty good over here, right? We have a pretty good coverage of those trade unions, then the next one will be somewhere over there. And all of those trade unions are actually in range of the palace, so they all get right now it's only 10%. In the future we'll be able to increase this, but most importantly we get the skilled act labor. So for many of these we're gonna get a boost in production that is pretty substantial. We also have for all of them electricity. So we start with the fur dealers over here. That hasn't changed, I just paused one. Then we have over here the brass smelters as well as the furnaces for steel and sewing machine. Now these used to actually be all the way over here in this corner. Now I've taken them all out so that they have access to electricity, plus they have access to this boost, because especially these guys, they get the 33% basically boost. Here too, we get it, so that's really powerful. I have even some space for some more brass smeltery there in the future. Then we move into the next one, which is for all of these chemical plants. I was able to delete basically some, because with again this boost of 33% and a bit of the department boost, we had more than enough. So I have, the souvenir balls over here. We have also the shampoo, and we have also over here the lemonade. So they're all over here. We also have the cab assembly line, because that also gets, 1 out of 3. Then we move into the spectacles on this side. There is the weapons and steam motors and all of this, right? They also all get this boost there. So that's why they're all together. There is a bit of gold, but I'm actually not using a lot of gold, because if we look at my gold corner that is over here, where, we have the jeweler and the clockmaker. Now the clockmaker still uses gold, but the jeweler doesn't use gold anymore. It uses instead glass, thanks to this one item here. Instead of gold, the building processes glass. It's also increasing productivity and attractiveness, so that's a really powerful one. Especially as glass is really not that hard to make, right? It's just this one building here, taking a bit of artisans, and it's using the sand. And remember, we're making tons of sand on some of those islands over here, so not a problem. You can see this is full of sand. So yeah, that was a really good item for us to get, and has enabled me to really delete a lot of these goldsmiths. And it probably also means that right now, I think we're producing more gold than what we need. Let me check. If we look at the gold ore, yeah, I'm now producing a lot more gold than before. So that's great. There is a problem here. Oh yes, I know why. Wood veneers I need another one. This was already a problem before. But yeah, we have the rest, like the weapon over here with the dynamite just in front of it. Why is this not clicking? Yeah, here it is, the dynamite, the champagne, and yeah, the gramophone over here. We used to buy it, now I'm gonna make it myself because buying it is very expensive. And last but not least, we have one more on this side, which is about the filaments and the light bulbs. So those two things together. And there's quite a bit of space, as I said. I think we're also going to move this pretty soon somewhere else. I don't really like it there. It doesn't really need to be anywhere close. The only thing is it needs electricity. So I'm thinking maybe we're gonna move it somewhere over here, maybe have a bit of electricity there. But yeah, here I did add, you know, a new town hall because I found a couple of great items, you know, in my alliance, like this one. Happiness plus 10, chances of fire and illness reduce, but most importantly, jam, lemonade and bread minus 20%. So that's really powerful. Then we have another one that's more happiness, less fire and illness, and then less illness. So my hotel should be very happy there. I did add also here one more cafe because the percentage of the cafe was a bit lower, I think at 80% or something. I was trying to get it to 100%, so that's why we added one cafe there. And I found this great recipe that's going to reduce ice cream by 65%. And they do want ice cream, right? This is one of their needs there. So that's why I've put it there. But mostly, again, this is to make sure we get this to 100%, because at that point we will have everything at 100%. We still need to connect or to finish my world fair and the skyline, but they are already perfect. You know, the happiness is fine. So all good there. And there is the laser boot we need to start making and we'll be done. We'll be done. So yes, and this one is not working because you need orchard. So I just started a new route for orchards. But yes, this is basically now all of the productions, you know, I can show you are done. We're making more schnapps, more bread, everything that we need. So that is great. It is maybe not fully perfect on some of the raw materials, but before you know, spending time trying to align it, I think it's more important that we start upgrading the city, because that was the whole goal, right? The whole goal was to get more people in, to get, you know, more in particular artisans, investors, engineers. And by the way, I mean negative in engineers just because we are doing the final stage of the World Fair, and that takes 2,000 engineers. Otherwise, I would definitely be in positive there. But yeah, we're gonna start, you know, getting more people in over here. But this will be in the next episode. You know, it takes a bit of time to do all of these, but it is a really great setup for us to expand further towards the end game, really the end game of this series. Thank you for watching, smash like button, and I hope to see you next time.